What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be discussing the possible big bad for The Flash season 6. Now there is obviously no spoiler warning for this one because you had enough time to watch the season. Hopefully you caught up with it. If not, I'm sorry, but I just gotta say this. And what I'm about to say is, extremely just theorized, mere speculation. Know what in any sort of way has it been confirmed. Now I'm sorry, I'm slurring my speech a little bit, just got a little dry mouth. It's early in the morning and I'm deciding to just straight out make a video without eating or drinking anything. So wish me luck. Now what I'm going to say is kind of similar to what everyone else is saying, but I also have my very own twist on the situation. Now, obviously, by looking at your screens, you see a picture of Red Death and you see a picture of Barry Allen. And no, that is not the direction in which I'm going with this. But theories, are surfacing the internet, and basically everyone's saying the exact same thing. Now, they do believe that Red Death will be the big bad for season 6. So, with evidence supporting that, if you guys think back into season 5, I believe this was episode 12, in which Barry and Iris travels to the future and they see, younger version of Nora in the Flash Museum, and she's doing what she's always been doing, visiting there every day, just, getting knowledge on all of these past villains and, trying to get knowledge on anything in history, basically, because, in the future, this is history about the past. So hence the reason why when Nora shows up in season 5, she pretty much almost knows everything and is pretty accurate on how to stop all of these entities, because of the fact that she visited the Flash Museum, and the Flash Museum was giving out these presentations on how each, villain was captured and, who they were captured by. Now, Red Death was actually mentioned in this speech given by the mayor, who was, Singh. Now, if you guys remember, Singh was actually the captain of the CCPD, but then he became the mayor in the future, and Joe became the captain of the CCPD. So now that Joe is actually the captain of the CCPD, courtesy of Singh, turning over the role to him. Now, I'm not sure exactly if he's still going to follow up in the future, being the mayor of Central City, but we do know that timeline changes happens to have a ripple effect on the future, no matter how big or how small this change in the timeline will take place. It's evident that it will happen. So, yeah, Joe becomes the captain right now, but who's to say that, Singh doesn't actually become, the mayor? What if he just gets a different job offering at another place, with higher payout or something like that? That could be the situation, but I don't think it is. But you guys get what I'm saying. So now, let's talk about Red Death. For those of you guys that don't know who Red Death is a combination of Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen. Now, going back to the comics, Batman from Negative Earth 52, he absorbed Barry, physically absorbed him. Now, the reason and, obviously how he did this was basically he forced Barry to access the Speed Force, because of a situation that was very, near and dear to Bruce Wayne's heart. All of the Robins were killed. This means his son included. Damian, you had Drake, you had Tim, and any other Robin or any other associate, in the Bat family was killed off. So this drove Batman over the brink, and the only way he knew that he can fix this situation was to go back in time. So he goes to Barry, and Barry isn't going to help him, you know what I'm saying? Because Barry has the knowledge, and he knows that messing with timelines will have ripple effects in the future, hence Flashpoint, and, just him doing so many things to the timeline, he eventually wises up and learns, so this was the situation. So, Batman decides, you know what, if you're not going to help me, I'm going to just capture you and make you do it. And, Barry being Barry, like, I would love to see you capture me, Bruce Wayne, you know what I'm saying? Like, Batman, like you have no powers, and, you know what I'm saying? It was just a silly idea to challenge the mind of Bruce Wayne, and you honestly see that, yeah, when tested, Bruce Wayne does show up, and he captures Barry, straps him to the hood of his Batmobile, and might I add that his Batmobile was kind of like converted into like a cosmic treadmill, same as Barry's, actual treadmill, meaning that it has the same capabilities. So he was using this car, and with Barry strapped to the hood, Batman now has access to the Speed Force. So they enter the Speed Force with the Batmobile. They're going so fast that Barry, starts to deteriorate and become pure Speed Force energy. And then that energy that Barry has transformed into is absorbed through Bruce Wayne, hence giving him speedster-like powers, and combining his speedster-like powers with his vigilante fighting skills and his detectiveness and stuff like that, he becomes the Red Death. Now, just after hearing all of that, you guys come to realize that Bruce Wayne within the Arrowverse, no one knows exactly where he is, and Batman has been missing for 3 years. So, it's very convenient that Bruce Wayne goes missing around the same time that Batman, goes off world for like 3 years. So yeah, if you piece it together, it makes sense. So now the point that I'm reaching at basically is this kind of character, they will not be able to use Bruce Wayne on the show if there is no Bruce Wayne within the Arrowverse. But there has been name droppings, and just the fact that he hasn't actually appeared, for them to just basically pull him out of the blue and make him Red Death and have them absorb Barry is just a bit much for TV, it wouldn't make sense. So here's my theory, and here is my very own twist. I believe that Godspeed will actually return, and he will be a version of Red Death due to the timeline changes. So I'm going to allow you guys to take a second and sink that in. Godspeed will become a version of Red Death. Now, I know, it seems crazy. You're probably thinking, Barry, you lost your mind, but when you look at the evidence, it kind of makes sense because of the fact that they won't have access to Bruce Wayne. They will not be able to use Bruce Wayne's character. And I don't think for a second that they're going to make Barry play another doppelganger, because at this point, that kind of story, that ship has set sail. You had this situation with Barry and his future self, then you had Barry with Savitar. It's just, this story, it gets old, you know what I'm saying, with these doppelgangers and stuff like that. Hence the reason why I don't think they're going to have another Wells this season. But for some strange reason, people have been proving me wrong. So, maybe. But as far as like Red Death and Barry actually being the Red Death, I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think that, due to the timeline changes, Godspeed, will probably no longer become Godspeed. He will just become the Red Death. It can still be August. Because if you guys think back to the comics, August got his powers from the Speed Force storm. And that tragic accident that happened with his brother, drove him over the brink to actually becoming evil and killing, other speedsters and stuff like that. Now, if you remember during the Speed Force storm, Barry and Wally had to train all of these new speedsters because people were running around and not knowing how to use their powers. Some were using it for good and some were using it for evil, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So Godspeed, his introduction, it was okay. A lot of us was pretty much upset at the fact that they made him a Speed Force junkie, a 2.0 version of Zoom and Trajectory. Now, if you guys remember Trajectory from an earlier season of The Flash, she was using Velocity 9 to go faster. But then as she kept going faster and everything like that, it was, ultimately killing her because she wasn't a naturally born speedster. She didn't have healing factors and stuff like that, and she wasn't given the powers by the particle accelerator. She used this drug in which they created and they called it Velocity 9. Now it gave them like speedster like powers, but it also had the effect in which, drove you crazy and you needed more. You know what I'm saying? So she kept using it. She was leaving Barry in the dust. She destroyed that bridge, and then when she had this front, heart to heart with Barry, kind of believes her in this whole kind of stupid conversation that they had, and then she just stabs herself once again with the Velocity 9, and she just tells him that, he will never be faster than her, and ultimately, yeah, he wasn't going to be faster than you, but in the end, she reached her ultimate demise, and she turned to dust, and as you've seen the dust, it was like these blue particles within the air. Now, you see the same blue lightning when she ran off and initially turned into particles appear when Zoom is running. So that's when Barry finally pieced it together that, Zoom is using Velocity 9 to get faster. That's why he's so much faster than Barry. But at the same time, Velocity 9 is killing them, and they need more to stay alive because they don't have that healing factor. So now, once you put all the evidence together, it sort of makes sense, doesn't it? Maybe they're going to reuse August because they didn't naturally give him Speed Force powers. He was using Velocity 9. So you take that evidence, you take everything that you heard about Red Death, and you combine it together. Because I honestly think that due to the timeline changes, that he does initially become different, with Nora destroying, helping destroy the dagger and, helping take down the satellite. There is a possibility because CW is known for its twists and changes throughout its multiple seasons. And we do know how sensitive the timeline actually is. So it just seems to me like this theory is definitely something that you guys should honestly look into, but you don't really have to. But that is my evidence supporting my theory. Since there are timeline changes and a new timeline sets in, maybe August, aka Godspeed, actually returns and he becomes an even darker version of himself. Just due to the storyline and how everything was being set up for him. Now, as I said, the CW is known for its twist. Now, remember the twist that they actually did with Cicada in the early season 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, he shows up, but initially when Nora reveals the identity of Cicada, this is not the same Cicada from the future. This is a different person entirely. Due to Nora coming back and helping Barry destroy the satellite, a different person gets the Cicada power. So, yeah, when you combined all the evidence together, everything does make a lot more sense, which is why I think that Godspeed will come back and he will be, an iteration of Red Death. I don't believe it's going to be Barry playing, a doppelganger version of himself again. And as I said, we don't have access to Bruce Wayne, so that is possibly the only, explanation I could have as them introducing the Red Death. Now, as I said, they introduced the Red Death basically. Well, they didn't introduce him, but he was teased back in season 5, and I believe this was episode 12. Now, as I said, Singh was making this, announcement or whatever down at City Hall because, he's the new mayor of Central City. He's no longer the captain of Central City Police Department. That captain now is Joe West. So the story is kind of following up on everything that happened in the future. You have Joe becoming the captain of the CCPD, and Singh is probably going to become the mayor of Central City unless they make a timeline change. I'm not too sure on exactly what is happening right now, but a lot of things are subject to happen. So just take everything I said and piece it all together, and it does make a compelling argument, So yeah, during that whole speech that he was given, he was basically talking about everything that has happened to Central City and how the Flash has did everything that he could. Now this is, the speech I'm guessing after the Flash went missing. So he does mention Zoom and he also mentions Red Death. But the way that he mentioned it was basically Cicada was on this killing spree and he hasn't been able to be captured as of yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm guessing Barry disappears and Cicada is still out there killing people. Now, they also said that Cicada's, kill count is more than Zoom and Red Death. So once, the fan base, us, once we heard that, everybody started losing their shit, because we're looking for Easter eggs constantly throughout every single episode and any kind of show or movie that, honestly has some relevance or relations to comics and stuff like that. So we're always constantly looking for breadcrumbs and, Easter eggs, as I said, and that was like a huge Easter egg for all of us to actually hear, like Red Death, oh shit. So now we're all theorizing, basically now that the season is over, that yeah, Red Death, we think he's coming. And personally, you heard it from me. I do believe that he is coming this season, but Red Death might actually just be some sort of like alternate version of Godspeed. So that is my theory. Let me know what you guys honestly think in the comment section below. And if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and smash that thumbs up button because it will do good for the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys understood my explanation. If not, let me know in the comment section and I will try to make a better understanding video. But if you felt like this was an okay, explanation, let me know your thoughts. And if you agree with me in the comment section, also, don't forget to check out my last few videos because those things are starting to blow up with the plays and I'm loving all the comments you guys are sending, all the support. Just keep doing the same thing, guys. Remember, you guys can also start sending your fan mail now. If you're writing something, you can write it. If you're emailing, you're emailing. If you're sending care packages and toys and other sorts of gifts and stuff like that, I will accept it if it's appropriate. Now, also remember that I only understand English, read and write English. So if you guys speak another language, I won't be able to, I won't be able to understand it, so just keep that in mind. But if you do send it in like the form of an email, I can have the email translated to English. So, just do your best. you know. But as I said, I'm accepting fan mail and stuff like that. And you guys can also visit that that GoFundMe page, because I'm trying to basically, raise enough money so that way I can get a better laptop. That way we can go back to doing more live streams of gameplays, and videos will definitely be better because I will have a better system to record on. So hopefully you guys can help me out with that. If you need the links to all of that information, it will be in the last couple of videos. One is actually titled GoFundMe, and the other one is titled Accepting Fan Mail. So those are the titles of the videos. Those are where you can find those links. So be sure to visit them today. I have some merch as well. If you guys want specialized, team related shirts, if you support Team Skills, let me know, and I will start to put out more shirts as well, because summertime is coming for me. Not sure about everyone else, but it's almost time for everyone to start getting some fresh merch. So just let me know if you agree with me with the whole situation that August, aka Godspeed, will be a version of Red Death due to the timeline change and the twist that CW is known for having. Let me know in the comments section. I'll catch you guys in the next video. As always, peace.